Okay, in this quick tutorial I'm going to explain to you how you should set up your Works Cited page for an annotated Works Cited. This is the same thing as an annotated bibliography explained in your textbook, but we're using the terminology of MLA in order to avoid any confusion. If you were working in APA format, which you will do for a later paper, you would use annotated bibliography for that terminology. But for us, we'll use annotated Works Cited. So in this case, you're actually going to set up the paper as you would a traditional MLA paper. You're going to insert the page number if you're not already using a template. You're going to put in the last name. You're going to type that identifying information. You should already have this stuff preset in Microsoft Office so that you don't have to worry about spacing paragraphs correctly and double spacing and all that. But if you do, the way you change that, if you don't have it preset, the way you change that is click here. This will change your paragraph spacing, make sure it looks exactly like this, and this will change your font and make sure it looks like this or says Times New Roman. Again, section, course and section number, and then the date. Today for this video is the 13th. And then for simplicity's sake, since this is just an annotated Works Cited that you're developing, you're going to put the title Annotated Works Cited, and then you're going to title it something along the lines of just title it based on the book for now, The World of the Image. Okay, so I've provided you with two unique sources. These sources are actually video sources. You can see in here we actually can just do a search and pull them up. But I want to show you the sources themselves in the blog here. So this will be in the lesson. When you click on it, it'll give you different information about it. Now, if you want to go to the original site, here, full screen is unavailable. You can go to the original site. Let's see here. You can click share, and it gives you this information if you wanted to share it. But it should be a way to go to the original site. Let's go to YouTube, see what it does. Yeah, okay, this brings up the original site. And you'll need to go to the original site. So you click the YouTube link on the video itself in order to go to the original site. And you'll need that to cite this in the Works Cited page. So I will cite this first one for you. And the first thing you do is you go to, in the 5th edition of a writer's resource, you go to page 303 and you look up in this little table of contents, you would look up web source, and let's see, online video or film, and this gives you, well, that says also on film or DVD, and this is not. So that might be a problem, but we're going to go to that and see how that works. I'm not seeing anything else here. So we'll go to 322. I'm still double checking. Sometimes these handbooks will have specific information. I use multiple handbooks across classes. So 322 in the 5th edition, online video or film. And if you look at this, you would see you have actually one here that doesn't have an author. It has a director. This isn't showing a director either. It doesn't look like there's any information about who created this other than it came through BuzzFeed Yellow. I'm going to right click on that because I double check my sources, which is something you always do, and see what kind of information they have on
So
BuzzFeed
nice. Okay,
Yellow.
now I
Uh,
get why
and of
men
course there's no
like
information
breasts
really
or
here
something.
about the author. So since I don't have a real author for the citation, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy the title of it. I'm going to put the title of it here. I'm going to make sure it's italicized since it's a larger text. And then this says director. It doesn't have a director on the list, so instead of the director, I would put BuzzFeed Yellow, because that's the company that is claiming production of it. And then I would put the location that it appears, YouTube. And then I would put the date. And the date it was posted was on 2014. So I will put 2014 on my Works Cited page, period. And then I would put the website itself, but not the URL, the name of the website. So in this case, the name of the website is YouTube as well. And then I would put the word web, and then today's date, date of view. And I want you to notice something about this citation. I do not use the URL. Now, some teachers may ask you to use the URL, but 2009 MLA does not require it. APA, I believe, does, but 2009 MLA doesn't. Now, this is interesting because this is beauty standards around the world, and you'll see that in the unit you also have men's standards of beauty around the world. It's interesting that for the women they don't use the word women's standards of beauty, they just call it beauty standards around the world, but they have to specify for men. I find that use of language particularly disturbing. So the title would be a little different there. Okay, so that's how you cite a YouTube video, and that's how you find it in a writer's resource. Now, the next part of this, if you recall from reading your annotated bibliographies, information in the Composition and Rhetoric Guide on page 220, is that you have to put in a summary of the text and the information that's in it that is useful for research. So if I'm thinking about it, sorry, not 220, let us see here. That's interview questions, interview tips, how do I say 210. In 210, you would look for a sentence or two of background context for the source, followed by a summary. What point is the author making? Using that reading in the Composition and Rhetoric Guide, this is where you would put your paragraph. Now, after you've done that paragraph, you would enter your next source, which you would enter each source alphabetically, and your next source, of course, is this Men's Standards of Beauty Around the World that's here in the book. Okay, so hopefully you'll find this video useful. If you have any questions, post them in the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely manner.